what we are talking about today is we are talking about the senses that live in our body. And I bet every single one of you, I see a hand already, the five senses.
Should I click on it?
Sure. Ash, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Bub. You can answer. What are the five senses?
One of the five senses, probably one of our most important senses, is the ability to feel or touch.
Absolutely. Anybody else have any? Okay, so I'll just run through them. That's fine.
Wait, I want.
Oh, sorry. Oh, go ahead, Bub.
Smell.
Smell, absolutely. Yep. Isaac?
The five senses is smell, hear, taste, and touch, and
What am I doing here right now?
and see.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So we can see, we can hear, we can taste, we can touch, and we can smell. And so a wonderful grounding thing to do, this is for you at any point, but sometimes maybe if you're a little upset, just even if you want to calm down your body a little bit, you can go through the list of your senses. And Ash, go ahead.
Okay. So it's also possible to have another sense called ESP, which is when you know what's gonna like happen before it even happens.
Absolutely. This is also known as our intuition, right? And so sometimes we get feelings about things. That might be a feeling about somebody that we know we want to be friends with. That might be a feeling about if you pass a dog in the street, you might be like, oh, I don't really think that dog wants to be petted. Ash, I'm going to keep going, okay? We're going to have time at the end. We're going to save time for later, but I want us to get through things. Absolutely want to hear from all of you, but we're going to keep it moving a little bit, and we're going to leave you all time again at the end, okay? Is that good with you? You have something you got to say? Go ahead.
My mom's name's Ash. I'm actually Bodhi.
Bodhi. Okay, I was wondering that. Yeah, forgive me, because Connie knows lots of your names, but I only have you on the screen, and so in many cases, it's going to be your parents' names.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start off. Everybody, you don't have to say it out loud, but I want you to think of one thing that you like to smell, something that smells good to you. And I want you to literally start smelling it. So pick your thing. I happen to love lemons, so I can literally just start smelling lemons. So think of something in your head, one specific thing, and start imagining yourself smelling it. And then I want you to think of two things that you like to taste. So two things that you like to taste, and you can almost feel them on your tongue. Feel how delicious they are. You can combine them with the smell if you want. And so then I want you to think of three things. They could be things that you can hear right now, or just three things that you like to hear. So either one. Probably even right now, like what are three things that if you're being quiet, we're all trying to be still, what are three things that you can hear right now? Just take a second and listen to those things. And you could also think of something that you love to hear, if you have a favorite song. And then I want you to think of four things that you can touch, and in general that you like to touch. It could be a soft kitty cat, it could be your own hair, a favorite chair. So four things that you like to touch. Start imagining yourself what they feel like. I really love suede and velvet. So things you like to touch.
Call on Isaac.
Oh, go ahead, Isaac, sorry.
If you like, can you touch anything?
Anything, absolutely anything, right?
Imagination.
Yeah, use your imagination. It could even be something like a unicorn, and you can imagine touching it. And now I want you to think, this one for lots of us is really obvious. 5 things that you can see right now. So 5 things in front of you. Just pick out 5 things and really look at them. Maybe a little bit more than you usually would. Most of the time we kind of get used to, everybody's at home, right? And so we kind of just get used to the stuff at our home. It's not like going out and seeing a new sight, something we haven't seen before, but just try to look around and see things kind of through new eyes. You're really using your sense of sight. So 5 things that you can see. Bodhi. Okay, and so I know Bodhi said that your sense of touch is so important. In truth, all of our senses work in harmony with us so that we can be able to do all of them at the same time. And they all bring really different things. You'll see, even as we know, we're going to do a visualization again. When we close our eyes, it's a very different world. If we can't hear, it's a very different world. If we couldn't touch, all of the senses work in conjunction. That means that they work in harmony. They all work together to bring us a whole life experience. And as he said also, intuition. We all have that. You all have it too. We're literally born with it. So you all are superheroes about intuition too. Just things that you feel in your little heart that you know is right. Or sometimes if you know something's a little bit wrong, like if you went to maybe do a little something at school that you knew wasn't quite right, there's a little knock in you that you know that it's not quite right. So that's a sense too, absolutely. And so since we're all sitting pretty calm, we're gonna now take a couple deep breaths together. So if you want to, you can sit cross-legged, however you want so that you're comfortable. And we're gonna breathe in for a count of 5. We're gonna hold at the top for a count of 7. And then we're gonna breathe out. It feels like a long breathe out for a count of 8. We're gonna do it 3 times together. So breathe in. And hold. And breathe out. And now breathe in again. And hold. And breathe out. And one more time, we're gonna breathe in. Big. And hold. And breathe out. And so we all know that emotions live in our body, right? I believe that all of you, have you had all of you?
No.
All of them? No? Almost. So emotions live in our body. So if we're sad, we can feel it in our body, right? Can you feel when you're sad? Raise your hand if you can feel in your body when you're sad. And sometimes it literally even feels like your heart hurts, right? Even though this is this organ inside you, sometimes if you're really sad, it literally feels like it hurts. Do you want to say something, Bob? Go ahead. Are you just raising your hand because I said?
Yeah, he's got his hand raised.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Okay,
Oh.
you got it, because I asked them to raise their hands for that. Okay, so yeah, and the same thing, say it's your birthday, and somebody has a surprise, something wonderful that you love. Can you feel joy in your body? Yeah, right? So you can feel when you're super, super happy. Maybe your best friend surprised you with something. Isaac, do you want to say something?
Yeah, my birthday is in April 13th. So it's
Nice. Our birthdays are close. My birthday is April 21st. We're coming up. Hopefully we'll be out of the house by then, right? Okay, so I'm actually going to have us all stand up for this part. We're going to do 2 things, one called shaking and one called tapping.
Mine no shaking.
What did you say?
Mine all no shaking.
You all know shaking? Okay, so if you've been with Connie before, then you know shaking. And so this is to get, if there are any emotions that you don't want to have in your body, we're going to shake them out now. And also this is just to get your whole body moving at the same time. So you can lift up your feet, shake your arms, shake them over your head, shake, 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 shake. Get everything out, everything out. Oh, I'm stuck in the house. Get that out. Oh, I have to do schoolwork at home. Shake that out. Oh, I can't see my friends the way I like to do. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Okay, and now we're going to do this other thing, which is called tapping. And so this is literally a healing thing that you can do to yourself. So first we're going to take our right hand, and you're just going to start tapping up the inside of your arm. Not hard, so you can feel it. tapping up and down this arm. Tapping, tapping, tapping.
How do I get that?
And then we're going to switch, and you're going to use your hand to do your other arm. Tapping, tapping, tapping. Absolutely. Excellent. And then you can take both hands, and you're going to tap your forehead. You're going to tap all around the front of your head. Lightly. You can tap on the top of it if you want. You'll be surprised. It actually feels pretty good. If you have on your headphones, that's okay. You can just do it right there on your forehead. And then we're going to tap a little bit down our legs. Take both hands. Tap it all the way down to your feet. As much as you can reach around the back of you. You can tap all across your belly, your chest, back down your arms. Now you can go crazy anywhere you want to on your own body. Just be tapping. But make sure, again, these are little points that you're hitting. So tap, 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 wherever you want to. And then we're going to end up with both of our hands with our fingers like this and just put them between your eyebrows lightly and rest them and just breathe for a second. And like Bodhi said, this is actually a place where your intuition comes from. It's right here in the center part. So we're just going to put our fingers on it. You can massage it a little bit. And then we're going to come back down to sitting. We got rid of all that energy. We tapped ourselves a lot. So we're going to come back down to sitting.
This group. I know it. Love it.
Okay, and so I believe that most of you joined us yesterday. And if you didn't, so we're going to go, I like to call it a journey into your mind, a journey into your brain, a journey down into yourself, really. And so that's what we're going to do. And I believe it looks like all of you have rooms, some of you already are, that we're going to lie down for this. And what's the difference? Does anybody want to say what's the difference in an experience between having it with your eyes open or your eyes closed? Yeah. Isaac, go ahead.
That you can imagine it.
You can imagine something totally, totally different, right? When I have my eyes open, I see Connie. I love Connie, but I see that. I see the things all around our house. But if I look inside my mind, I can see absolutely anything. So we're going to take, again, a journey within. So I would love you all. If you have the ability to lay down, that's great. If you're in a space where you can only sit up, that's okay also. But we're going to close our eyes for it. Do you have a question, Bob? No, you okay? Okay, you got it. Okay, so once you've got your eyes closed, we're going to start the journey by taking 3 deep breaths together. So I want you to breathe in. And breathe out. I breathe. Be disruptive. And breathe in again. And breathe out. And one last one, the biggest one yet today. Breathe in. And sigh it out. Okay, so behind your eyes, now that they're closed, you are transported to a beautiful forest. You look up and the trees tower over you, shading you from the glowing sun, but allowing just a few beams through, which shine right on you, and they warm you from head to toe. You take a moment to smile into the sunshine, breathe in the warm air, which feels clean, and it smells of pine and forest flowers. So you're using all your senses. Even in your imagination on the journey, you're going to try really hard to smell the things that we talk about smelling, and to see the things that we talk about seeing, and to feel things, all with your eyes closed. Your senses can literally still work with your eyes closed. So then you look around you and you are standing in the center of a circle, and it is lined with little animals. There are squirrels and rabbits, birds, Even a little red fox is watching you and just smiling. You turn all the way around and you see that it looks like you are in the center of a wheel. There are paths leading in every direction. Some of them are well worn. Some you can barely see. Some are overgrown with bushes and greenery. And some are lined with hot coals and smoky stones. Some even have tall flowers waving at you. And so you continue to look around, and which path do you choose? I want you to first think of something that bothered you a while ago. Not very recently, something that bothered you a while ago. You still remember that it made you feel badly, but it didn't happen yesterday, didn't happen the day before. It was further back in your past. This bother causes you to go down one of the paths, which is covered in vines and sticks and can barely even be called a path. But you bend under branches and you step over muddy puddles. And after a minute, you feel frustrated by moving so much out of your way. You look, and far in the distance, you can see this problem, this thing that bothers you. But why would you keep beating down the path to get there? So you turn around and you go back the way you came. On the way back, you notice that the path is a bit cleared out. The way you moved forward had moved some of the things. So if you wanted to go back that way again, it would be easier. But you don't want to. And so you head back to the center. And now I want you to think of something or someone that almost always makes you happy. I want you to really focus on it for a minute. This thing or this person, how does it make you feel? How does your heart feel when you think of it? And what is your favorite thing about it? Why do you love it so much? So as you're focused on this thing or person that you love, you look again at the paths. All of the animals are laughing and pointing to one. That path is wide and it's well worn and is lined with flowers and fruit trees. The animals laugh harder and all move to surround you and herd you towards that path. And then you start laughing yourself. After all, you are surrounded by a crowd of laughing, smiling, friendly animals, all encouraging you on your path. So you start down it, and every step feels better and better. Every second, the trees seem to open up. The sun gets brighter, and the path gets wider. You feel like you've been on this path before. And along the way, you see many of your favorite things. Your favorite friends, your favorite foods, your favorite games. All of the animals catch up and run with you, and the path gets wider and bigger with every step. And then there at the end is your favorite person or your favorite thing, what you'd been thinking of. And it was so easy to get to. Soon you are all dancing and laughing to your heart's content. And after some time, the smallest, cutest rabbit comes and tells you it is time for you to go back to center. For a second, you start to feel sad, but the rabbit grabs you and spins you around so that you can look over the whole view and see everything. You see all the paths, and they all lead to different thoughts and memories. Do you get it? The rabbit laughs. You can go down any path, any thought, anytime. And the more you go down that path, the wider and flatter it gets, and the easier it gets to go down again. So think wisely about what thoughts you want to choose. Think wisely about what paths you want to go down. And you can come back to this favorite place anytime. And the more you come, the easier it gets. Now come on. She turns you around again. with a sweet nudge of her furry paws, and you see all the animals waving you down the path back. Again, they surround you, and together you all go racing down the trail, laughing and skipping along. And sure enough, you can see the trail getting wider as you all pass through. You get back to the middle, and you're a little out of breath. The little red fox cries. Let's all take 3 deep breaths together. So breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out. And with this last breath, you make a decision. You will try your hardest to choose happy thoughts and to go down happy trails. If you catch yourself going down a sad or angry path, you're going to take the time to stop, reflect, turn around, and go back to your center. Take deep breaths and head down a happy one. So while we're all still like this, still in the zone, then we're going to take just a second. We're just going to breathe for a minute all together. So you can think of whatever you want to. And I do encourage you, just like the paths that we were just on, to try to think something happy. If you want, you can focus on one particular thing. You can also just focus on your breathing, if that works for you. Just breathe in and breathe out. And if it's helpful, you can also put a person in your mind or something you love and focus on that. So we're all just going to stay still and breathe in and out. Give our bodies a rest. Give our senses a rest. Give our minds a rest. You've got about 30 more seconds. Most of you are doing a great job. And don't forget, this is your time to just go inside. Give all of your systems a break. So keep breathing. We're about to come back. Couple more deep breaths. And then when you're ready, you can open your beautiful eyes, wiggle your toes, and start to come back to the room that you're in. You can begin to use your senses again. You can look around you and see what you see. Maybe there's new sounds going on. Maybe you hear something outside. Maybe you hear your brother or sister. So we're coming back to center. Does anybody, I know a couple people had things they wanted to share during that. I didn't want to cut you off, but I want to make sure to give you a chance to say something if you want.
Okay.
Does anybody have something that they want to say?
Go ahead, Bodhi.
All right. So I think that this is very calming. So thank you for this exercise, but it's also kind of like tense because we're all thinking that we're in this place, but then we're not actually in this place. So it makes some of us kind of sad that we're not in this place.
I really appreciate your comment. That's absolutely true. And the truth is, it's kind of like the thing that I wrote too. We all have to practice stuff, right? I don't know if anybody plays an instrument or plays a sport. I got you, Isaac, in one sec, both of you, okay? I promise. But everything takes practice. And the truth is that the way that our minds work, they're very used to being just on the go, and very used to accepting reality. People probably tell you that as kids. They say, this is reality. But the truth is that reality even goes beyond things that we see. So I absolutely appreciate your comment, but the same as if you watch, who likes to watch movies? Thumbs up. And when you watch a movie, you literally can feel, or read a book. For those of you, I love to read too. You can literally feel yourself in the scene, right? You can kind of feel yourself transported. When I read a book and I'm using my own imagination, sometimes I can feel myself like the character. I feel myself in the scene. So yes, you're absolutely right that it's not a very automatic thing that we all have, but if we practice at it, we can feel like these little journeys to somewhere else even feel like reality for a moment. And I want to give it to Isaac and what's your name? Okay, Isaac.
Could the fox talk? Like, could all the animals talk?
Could all the animals talk? In my stories, the animals can always talk. They're not always talking during the stories because we're trying to have quiet time. But I believe that animals talk to us in all kinds of ways. Connie and I both just had dogs. They lived to be 19 and 15. And I believe my dog both understood everything I said to him and that he talked to me all the time. I think she wanted to say something. Did you want to say something, Bob? I'm sorry, we can't tell who's who. Olivia?
I just wanted to say, mine's sort of like Bodhi's. It's like when I opened my eyes, I didn't want to leave the story because it was like such a good story.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And again, you all have beautiful imaginations. Frankly, very often, young people even have better imaginations than when we get older. So you can literally, if you have something that you love, whatever you person, you can picture that. You can make up stories in your mind. I believe that you are all creative and you could, let's just say that your favorite, I'll choose my dog. I make up stories in my mind about my dog all the time. So yeah, it takes some practice. I'm glad you like the story. I will gladly write more. But you can literally do it for yourselves too. You all have wonderful imaginations.
One more question.
Ask
her name.
What's your name?
Me?
Yes.
I just want to say thank you for doing this class, and my name is Riley.
Riley. Okay, you are so welcome.